Hello, I am Debra Wallace, licensed marriage and family therapist, and I have started these weekly lives Tuesdays and Thursdays, lunchtime in Central Time Zone. For many reasons, I actually did an introduction video. You can check out my YouTube channel that describes more of my intentions, but um, in short, I'm smiling now as you may be hearing my cat, which actually in that introduction, I actually was sharing a very personal story as my mom recently died. And I have been driven since a little girl to feel this need to I just felt the heaviness, and I always know that I wanted to do something to bring light and peace and ease to this world. And I have been studying and synthesizing, and with my master's degree in human development and family studies, and continuing into neuroscience and trauma. I originally wanted to be a teacher at one point, and then just all that I learned about how we learn just really inspired me to do so much in this world. So going back to you hearing my cat meowing in this introduction, with my mom passing and I was her primary caregiver, I had to give so much of my time and energy as I run my own business. And yet I wanted it is essential and vital for me. You know, I talk about being there from conception to transition. So the I wanted to be there for her because she had dedicated so much to her six children and was a victim of so much and suffered so much. And so it was really important for me to move from my happy place in New Zealand to be at her side to take care of her. And this cat that's meowing, actually, when I was telling the story in the introduction, was that because the cat will sometimes show up in the background, and was actually is my mother's energy. Is we've named it after my mother as when my mother I. When I told the story, I actually forgot to mention this part that when she was in ICU for an extended period of time, and she was on a lot of pain medication. She actually saw a cat in the room, and it was alarming to her in that state, as she's allergic to cats. um, but we often had her doctors, as she's been great, very ill for about 11 years. Um, and her doctor would joke when first met them that she had 9 lives, and we just don't know what life she's on. And I remember on that ride home, my mom saying, "I'm actually think I'm on my second round of 9 lives," and I agreed with her because it's been a lot. But so then this cat showed up the day that my mother died to my sister, and my sister was actually the one in the room that was when my mom was seeing the cat in the room. And so then when this cat showed up to my sister, was following my sister around. My sister knew she wanted me to have the cat. She already had a cat and a dog, and so she gave me the cat. So you will hear Babs. Babs makes a lot of noise, and I actually like kind of giggle because that is my mom's energy. She was very funny, and she made a lot of noise. And it was really important for me to tell her story when we talked about she had a near death experience not too long ago, about a year ago, and she said that she wasn't ready to go because she still had more to do. And I feel like I'm here to represent my mom in so many ways. And so thank you for joining in and checking in. And in my last feed, also Thursdays, I'm doing this Tuesdays and Thursdays, I had a candle metaphor. So I encourage going back, listening to them. I'm trying to keep these to 15 to 30 minutes because I want people to know that to create peace and pleasure in our life, it actually doesn't take that much time. There's actually simple things that we can do for our nervous system to help give us some pause, some space to rest, to process. Process is key. It's really important to process. So there's a theme, obviously, to all my videos about taking a pause and processing, and every body is different. So I'm going to give so many examples of ways to process, but again, it's up to you and you listening to your nervous system to figure out what works for you, what doesn't work for you. My also hope with these videos is to, um, break the stigma of going to therapy. I encourage everyone to go at least once in their lifetime. And so I'm just giving you a sample of what I would do in sessions and, and such. And so, uh, I typically start with deep breathing. Um, so, what I want you to do right now while you're listening to me talk, and hopefully I'm encouraging, I wanted to do this during lunchtime because I want to promote people taking lunches and nourishing their body with food and nutrients. And so, the breath is a way of nurturing your body with oxygen. We are like, you know, I mean, all the cells of your body need oxygen and water. We are 75 to 85% water. And so it's so important that we stop and pause and breathe. So let's take a breath in and exhale long through your mouth. And again, breathing in through your nose. Imagine if it helps to take a color or a light that's entering your nose, and as if you're sending it to your lungs and you're expanding it out to parts of your body. And I recommend at least 3 of these conscious nurturing breaths, as our first ones are usually shallow. You're also going to notice resistance because as a human, we have free will, we have busy lives. And so there's a lot going on, although I'm trying to promote and teach, and there are simple ways to bring peace and ease into our lives and promote well being and maximize human potential. Um, our mind, body, spirit is very complex. And so we will have, even when we're doing something that's good for us, we will have parts of us that are like, hey, what are you doing? You can't slow down. You got to get this done. You got to get this done. And there will be parts of us that say, this is stupid. Why are we doing this? Why are we taking a deep breath? I'm breathing all the time. Obviously, I'm alive. And so all parts welcome. I'm also trained, I do some internal family systems models um, where there's lots of parts of us that play. And again, my Babs is my cat who's named after my mom. And we can continue to hear Babs is definitely vocalizing a lot. Um, so thank you for your patience. And hopefully you get a little giggle listening to Babs meow. Babs actually wants to get outside because Babs was found outside. So I think that's what the meowing is. Yet we have rules here. So Babs is an indoor cat for now. So taking another breath in and exhaling. And I'll teach, I mentioned as I was introducing this on my events, my Facebook page, I'm on social media, Instagram, Facebook, constantly sharing free resources because I just want to promote well-being and maximize human potential. And we are just born full of goodies and so wise and intelligent. And that's actually what I'm promoting is helping you pause so you can listen to the wisdom that's inside of you. And so I speak in my headline for today. I was talking about somatics and somatic therapy. And I will encourage reading anything from Dr. Peter Levine. He is the pioneer of somatic experiencing, and that goes on much more intense. But I weave all those practices in. Yet somatic really means, I get this question a lot. What does somatic mean? And somatic means relating to the body. So, like if you're going to go to a doctor, they're going to list out what are the somatic symptoms, what are the psychological symptoms, mood, affect, behavior. So, somatic is all relating to symptoms, sensations of the body. And I do a lot of somatic therapy, and somatic therapy is helpful for a lot of trauma. As I mentioned, I've worked in trauma. I've even done supervision with Dr. Vessel Vanderkolk, who's written Body Keeps a Score. I recommend that book. However, it's very intense. So uh, less is more with that book. However, um, s- I, in every session and in my own life, listen to my body because it is giving us cues. And so while you're taking these deep breaths, or if you're hopefully eating or whatever you're doing, when you scan, it's about noticing sensations, patterns of tension, or relaxation, noticing any tingling. And so, actually, if you saw, there's an image. So, I've actually written a book, How to Train Your Brain. I have a live webinar going into detail about my book, because it's not just a book. It's not a book that you just this is the cover, How to Train My Brain. It's not a book just to sit in one sitting and you read it like, oh, one story. No, this is meant to be. It's actually a personal, playful guidebook for parents to actively do with their child. Encourage the parents to do the activities with them, because we're all born with a nervous system, and it's teaching us about how to listen to our nervous system. Um, and so, one of the pages in my book is about sensations. And the language I have here is, here are some words to describe sensations that you may feel in your body when you're in gator brain. And gator, I have many talks on it, but gator is our located in our brainstem, and that is our survival brainstem here. I use our hand because I use the hand model, but and then here's Babs. Brainstem is located here. It's responsible for all our automatic reflexes, everything that our body does to keep us alive. It's amazing. And so when and I also have a dog in my book, and so I'll talk a lot about that. We have this dog part scanning our environment 24/7, looking for cues of threat or safety. And so if we pick up a threat, and again, a threat can be a loud noise, your someone you care about, someone frowning. I mean, facial features. Right now, Babs making noises and getting into things like is distracting me. It's being perceived in my nervous system as, oh, Babs needs my attention, but I'm here live. So I have to make a mental note and feel that. I notice that tension in my jaw to hear that. And that's how our nervous systems are on 24/7. And it just takes an eighth of a second, a blink of our eye to sense a threat. And now, so uh, in our body is communicating to us all the time. And so these are some examples of sensations that you will be feeling if your nervous system is picking up some threats, perceiving threats. And again, threat is real or imagined. Doesn't mean it's, the worst case scenario. A threat can be something new, can even be. So just doing something new, something that's uncomfortable, something that's scary. And so we have stiff, shaky, heavy, goosebumps, empty, tender, sore, hot, dizzy, numb, tearful, weak, jittery, full, stiff, loose, twitchy, tingly, pain, blocked, chilly. And this is just, there's more. There's a lot more. This is all I could fit on this page. Um, so as you're scanning, just notice if you notice any of these. And in my other videos, I've talked more about, um, if you're noticing them, there's usually some thoughts, there's usually some experiences around them. So by processing means like, huh, what's going on here? How come I'm feeling that? And if we don't have time to just sit and process through everything, you can use a container. There's lots of tools, but at the bare minimum, just acknowledge I am noticing my gut. Like right now, I'll be honest, like looking at the news, I feel disgusted. I feel sick a lot right now, and I'm going to tie this back into my mother. As one of the recent things I've read about is, and this is personal and professional because I'm a telehealth provider, and there's news now that Medicare won't be allowed to provide telehealth. And so for me, like as I like my sickness, and like I'm feeling a lot of also tension. And actually I just did, and my next positive reframe video is going to be on anger. I'm feeling a lot of anger, and I'm noticing that in my body. And I am noticing some chaos in my like a little all over the place, hard to focus. A lot of thoughts going on in my head is something that I'm noticing. And so as you scan and check into your body. Are you noticing any of these sensations? Are you noticing any patterns? And I'm just giving you an example of what I'm noticing. And when I dig a little deeper, it's because, this Medicare and Medicaid, personally for my mother, like if like I like my world, our world, if she was still alive, would be in a world of hurt with what's going on. And also as a provider, I started working for families doing in-home family therapy in Colorado, and I would literally have to drive an hour to some rural places. So if you think about um, not having telehealth, and now again, we're blessed that we have this technology, and we didn't even have it then as an option. And so I had to do that drive. But we know we have this option, and we know that there are many people, especially disabled. My mother was disabled for the last 11, I mean, she's disabled actually since I was 7 years old. She's been on disability since I was 7 year old. And due to an accident that was not her doing. And as a woman who raised 6 children and did the best she could, this would be like I hear her, like I actually wake up and hear her. She was very vocal about speaking to representatives and senators. So right now I'm feeling that alive in me. And um, and that's just so I'm just giving an example. On top of that, I'm still living in her home and working through all the things of her life that I'm processing and that. And I hold space for a lot of people. I mean, everyone who comes to my office is going through really hard things. And that is also so I want to be an advocate. I'm feeling really charged. So when I'm feeling all that tension, it makes me feel like I need to do something. And that's why I started doing these lives. That's why I'm writing letters and attending town hall meetings and doing whatever I can to make sure that services can continue for people who can access them. As my mother had to do virtual sessions. I can't even imagine. And it was because I was her caregiver and I had to run a business and hike, and she couldn't even get into a lot of vehicles. It was the only car that I could take her in, and we tried many options. And so, and she'd had, so I'm feeling a lot of those in my body. And again, everybody's different. If you're at work, you're probably noticing stressors and managing that. Um, as a telehealth provider, my home is my work environment. So, you know, I feel that coming up as well. The rest of my day that I have planned, and just notice that for yourself. And as I mentioned, if it's too much, put it in your container. It makes sense that we're feeling these things. The sensations are letting us know that something needs to be processed, something might need to change, we might need to do something different. And but for you, listen to what is coming up for you. There's no right or wrong, and it's going to probably look and sound very different from what I have, and that's okay. But listen to your body as you befriend these sensations, get curious about them, and see what might need to be adjusted in your life. And I'm going to encourage another deep breath, um, scanning from head to toe, noticing any thoughts, feeling sensations. Um, and actually, uh, I'm going to light, as the last time when I met, I didn't have my candle. I wanted to light a candle because what, uh, as I mentioned, we're all born connected and have so much wisdom. And so when we take a pause, we are able to actually, I'm gonna light my birthday candle because actually when we're all born, we actually don't even have protection. We're just kinda like a candle in the wind. Um, and so I kinda want you to just kind of breathe, look at this flame, kinda set, the worries aside, all those hard things aside, and pay attention to the movement and the flickering. And as I mentioned, like, you can imagine breathing in a light entering, filling up your body, your mind, just knowing that it makes sense that what you're going through is challenging. And I want you to know, and what I want to remind everyone, that you can get through this. And the most important thing is to get calm and connected. Um, and the hope is calm. Though I do want to acknowledge that calm is not always possible. I want to highlight connection. Being connected to your mind and body is more key and present for yourself so that you can see and listen to what you're needing. So And I want you, as you're breathing in light, notice any thoughts, feelings, sensations as you're taking a few deep breaths. And actually, in my book, I have a page for when we are feeling safe and connected to our body. And that is often cuddly, awake, calm, warm, fuzzy, flexible, soft, tall, light, open, relaxed, still. And it's from this space of clarity when we're still that we can be able to um, make some maybe have some new awarenesses, make some changes that align with our values and our needs, something that might need to happen. Um, and so hopefully as you're taking these conscious deep breaths that you're noticing some ease and some peace. That's the hope. And I will acknowledge that all new habits, all new things that you're trying will have some awkwardness, will feel uncomfortable because it is new. Our nervous system will sense anything new initially as a threat because it's new. It's like, hey, this is uncomfortable. And I really thank you for joining me. Um, and just to end, as I didn't get to finish the full metaphor in the last Thursday's talk, um, this is your light. I've been lighting candles a lot in honor of my mother. I love candles. I'm just now having a funny story that she allowed me to have so many candles when I was in high school in my room. I thank her for that, that she allowed me to have so many. So they mean a lot to me. But imagine this, like this is our spirit, which we all have. But think about this candle in the wind, how quickly, like as I'm talking, I just literally was just talking and it blew out. And this is what's going on with all our spirits, and especially for our children. Like it is so easy to blow our light out like this. Like the 24/7 stimulation, like it is like nothing. And so what I love doing is showing people that actually, like here we're fancy, we have a lighter, that there are ways to relight your candle. And you have control of the lighting of the candle. I don't want, whenever I work with people, like, yes, it's nice when our loved ones are kind to us. It's nice when things are going well. But in reality, that's not going to happen. And I want you to have your well being in your hands, in your life in your hands. And so it's so important that we find what is your lighter. And often these are things that get us back in our body to feel calm and connected and relaxed and joyful. Like petting pets is one of those things. Watching funny, silly videos, singing music, um, stepping outside, nature. There are so many ways to light our candles. And how often we just think we need to keep going and going, going and going. And we are just depleting and blowing out our candles. So I encourage you to um, continue to be open and curious about what are things in your life that light your candle, that help you feel more of these sensations in your body. And we want to increase the dosage of those things. You need them so that you can stand up and assert and deal with the hard things, because there will inevitably be stressors and hard things, and not all stress is bad. We actually do need stress, and I actually have a YouTube video on that stress. So I encourage you to do that for yourself. And thank you for joining me. Feel free to listen to more of my videos, share, and I will be here again on Thursdays as my gift to help create some pause, some space to process so that you can find more pleasure and peace in your life. Take wonderful care.